friends, supporters, and of course, the media who gets the message out. So welcome everyone and good morning once again. It is always a pleasure to be here. Never mind the circumstance that we're talking about chronic diseases and a disease that has taken lives of men and women in our society. But it's a pleasure to be here because we are working together, we're unified, and we are fighting for a good cause. And today you'll hear from survivors and fighters, you'll hear from caregivers and NGOs, you'll be able to interact with them afterwards and be reminded of what has motivated us all to be here. And as we get through, I had to pause because she probably would have taken a photo with me in an awkward position. So to get us officially started, let me invite Ian Lewis, our marketing director, to give his remarks.
So I don't suffer from vertical challenge too much. Officials from the Ministry of Health, our champions of hope NGOs, survivors, specially invited guests, members of the media, and of course my fellow colleagues, good morning. And wow. Impressed. Thank you for joining us today for a cause that touches homes and hearts across the globe. As Helen Keller, an inspiring advocate, author, and educator who overcame unimaginable challenges, once said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." And so too in this fight against cancer, that particular truth is not just hopeful rhetoric, it is our rallying cry. And this morning, under the banner of Pinktober 2025, we come together with a shared commitment to the theme, Act Now, Live Strong. These 4 words carry a simple but urgent truth. Act now because cancer does not wait. Live strong because strength is not only surviving, but also choosing to take care of yourself and fight boldly. At One Communications, our mission is connection. We provide a strong network which allows voices to be heard and lives to stay linked. However, connection is more than just technology. It is also bringing people together, sharing knowledge, giving hope, and supporting each other. And that is why Pinktober matters to us. When someone shares a reminder to get screened, when a survivor tells their story, when a neighbor urges a friend to check a lump, that is connection at its most powerful. We know these small actions can save lives because they have and they continue to. Act now means booking that screening, making that call, or having that difficult conversation today. Not tomorrow, not when you have a chance, but today. It means reminding a loved one that their life matters so much that they can't delay it. It means for us as a business, turning every channel of communication into a call to action so that more people hear, more people act, and more lives are saved. Live Strong speaks to the heart of every survivor. It is the courage of the woman who stood up and fought breast cancer and today faces cervical cancer with unshaken faith. It is the strength of families who walk beside their loved ones through treatment and recovery. Some of those very people are sitting with us here today. It is the determination to keep living joyfully and purposefully, even when fear tries to steal tomorrow. Last year, friends, over 14,000 persons came together with us for our flagship walk. Men, women, children, friends, families, even co-workers, where every single step on the streets represented a statement of solidarity. And this year we call on every community, every workplace, and every heart in Guyana to rise with us. Let us not just match that number, let us exceed it and show the world what unity in purpose can accomplish. To the survivors and fighters among us, your courage is our greatest teacher. To the families and caregivers, your love is the invisible network that helps keep hope alive. To everyone here and everyone who will hear today's message, let today be the moment you decide to act for yourself, to act for someone you love, and to act for your tomorrow. On behalf of the entire One Communications family, I pledge that we will continue to use our network to spread this life-saving message. Let us make One Pinktober 2025 another year where we move with purpose towards awareness, towards early detection, and towards hope. And on Sunday, 26th October, step by step, voice by voice, we can push back against cancer's shadow. Let us make the move together in defense of hope and in defense of tomorrow. Act now, live strong. Thank you.
All right.
I feel like we're ready to chant, act now, live strong. All right, so let's just do it. Act now, live strong. Act now, live strong. Because that is exactly what we need to do. And one of the biggest actors in this journey is the Ministry of Health. So at this point, I will invite the doctor who is responsible for chronic diseases, Danelli Drapal, to give remarks on behalf of the Ministry of Health.
Good morning, everyone. So before I go on, I would like to thank GT&T. We know we have been doing One Communication, sorry. So before I go on, I would like to thank One Communication because annually they have been showing up and supporting us in this initiative. So thank you very much. You're welcome. So I'd like to extend regards on behalf of the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, who's currently on travel duties. He sends his heartfelt regards. He's sorry that he cannot be here for this event. Also, the Director for the Non-Communicable Disease, Dr. Lakshmi Lal, she's in the next meeting, so she couldn't be here. So we got here today in the heart of October to recognize and honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is not just a month marked by the color pink, so I would like to emphasize this because we notice that every October, everybody jumps in the bandwagon, they wear the pink, everybody wants to get screened, and after October, it just dies down. We need to emphasize that every day we need to take initiative, we need to look after our health. Not only breast cancer, but our health in general. I work in the chronic disease unit, and we look at the 5 major chronic diseases, but there are other diseases. We as Guyanese, we have the habit that we do not go to the hospital. We wait until that we're sick or some symptom comes up. Then we run to the hospital at the last moment, and we expect that our doctors will work a miracle, but that isn't so. So I'm just stressing again, the month of October should be every month. We should celebrate, well, not celebrate, but observe, be aware that we need to do our physical exams. And Pinktober is not only about females, we need to recognize that there's a small percentage of males that can have breast cancer. So I just want to reiterate that to everyone. So we know that breast cancer is the leading cause of death in Guyana. We've been observing this trend throughout the years. Someone here, I'm sure, has been affected by this, either a mother, their grandmother. Personally, for me, my grandmother, she had breast cancer. She detected it when she was like around 40 something. I cannot remember exactly, but she got it early. She got her treatment. She did her mastectomy, and she lived a full life. When she died, she did not die of breast cancer. It was the next disease that took her life. So I'll just like to reiterate that. We need to emphasize on early detection, as I said. The Ministry of Health, in the year 2025, we have introduced 4 mammograms in 4 different regions, regions 2, 6, 9, and 10. So I'm urging everyone to access our services. We notice that the uptake is very low right now. I guess it's because that we're not aware that the services are there. So I'm telling you now, you could visit your regional hospitals and you could have these services free of cost. We're also working on other initiatives whereby we're doing trainings with healthcare workers. In June, we developed a breast cancer strategy. Soon there will be a launch for that, so just look out for that. And we've also been supporting other organizations, survivors. So if it is that you're having a problem, you could visit our department and we will see how best we could assist you. So before I go, I would like to just emphasize that we need to look at education. This is a major aspect. Health promotion, I know, in all diseases, this is a problem. So I just want to highlight this. We're in the era of technology. We could go online, we could read about what are the symptoms, and if it is that you think that you have the symptoms, just visit your nearest health center and your doctor will guide you. We're committed to support organizations. So as we have the collaboration with One Communication or the NGOs, and so they're on board with us. And also, as I said before, we're committed to promote healthy lifestyle. So that means you should be active, eat properly, stay away from harmful, like toxic habits like smoking and alcohol. So let the pink ribbon be more than just a symbol. Let it be a catalyst, a reminder of the lives that have been touched, the battles that have been won, and the work that remains to be done. So before I go, as I said before, take your health seriously. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Drapal. And you know, when she talks about eat properly, when we were growing up, we say eat your vegetables. But then one of the things that we don't take seriously is how much sugar we consume. And every survivor in this room can tell you one of the advice that they've gotten from the doctor is to drop sugar from the diet. One bottle of juice, I don't want to call any brands, but the ones that we give our kids, has an average of 27 to 33 grams of sugar, 6 teaspoons to 8 teaspoons. That's how much sugar you're putting into your kid when you give them some brands, not all of them. And I say that to say that generally we say eat properly, but we need to delve deeper into what eat properly means. And the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health has a campaign, and videos will be coming out to give you more information on what foods you should eat and what your plate should look like in terms of 3% this, 2% that, 50% that, so that you get a better idea of what you need to put into your body and what you should avoid putting into your body. Now, we'll hear now from who I call voices of strength, women who have walked the journey, been declared breast cancer survivor, but then cancer is back in a different part of the body. Rosalind Clark is going to tell us about her journey, how she moved from survivor, not literally yesterday, but yesterday, to fighter once again. Rosalind?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. First, I must say thank God for being alive today, for waking me up this morning. Because without him, I don't know where would I've been. So I want to give him all the praise and thanks. You know, my journey started in 2016. I traveled to New York to visit my sister. And why is that? I must say that I come from a family of 9, in which 8 were stricken with cancer. 2 died. The men with prostate cancer and the women with breast cancer, cervical cancer. When I went to New York, I didn't know that my sister that I was staying at, she had just done a surgery for cancer. Because the one that died, I didn't know that was cancer because, you know, they tend like to hide it. I feel like there's some taboo about this cancer, so they would hide in it. So when I was there, I felt a lump under my arm, and I thought, you know, traveling overseas, you're fetching this little bit of thing for them, I pull in suitcases just, or the deodorant that gave me that. And then my sister told me, she said, look, I had breast cancer and I did a lumpectomy, and she said, when you go back to Guyana, get yourself checked out. When I came back home, I went to the GRP. I got it checked out, and they said they find a lump there, and I was told to go to Morrissey Hospital. There I did a test, and they found a mass in the left side breast. I went to Medical Arts Center. I did a lumpectomy, and I waited 6 weeks. It was an agonizing 6 weeks wait to know what is the situation. When I got the results, the doctor called, they said the results is in, and I said, okay, and I hustled, and I went alone. So he said, who you come with? I said, look, I come alone because they just, he said, no, you have to come with somebody. I said, look, I walk with God, he is my strength. He said, no, you have to bring somebody. It's okay. I went back home, I told my husband, and we went the next day. He said that they find the biopsy showed that it was cancer in the left breast. I told the doctor, I said, listen, I don't depend on one diagnosis. I want a second opinion. So I went over to the oncology department of Georgetown Hospital. I got myself tested again, and there it was, yes, confirmed. It was breast cancer. So the doctor up to the mean, he told my husband, he turned, he said, you before one, said breast or none? Or you, no. He said, man, look, I could think I could leave my wife and she one side breast. It's okay. So I made a decision I take off my braces early. I took off the brace off. During my journey, the first year within my journey, I lost my mom. 6 months after, I lost my husband. So it was a tough journey for me. I had a support of my children, but my biggest supporter was my granddaughter. At the time, she was 3 years old. She lived in Linden with my daughter. And I remember when former GTT had their first walk, she wanted to come down. I said, it's okay. But by the time she got down, we were already at Lamar Street. I said, you could come. And she came. And that little child walked with me. When I'm at home and she comes down, I would hear her rapping at the bedroom door when I'm out of the bathroom. Who is it? It's me, Granny. I said, Mariah, what you want? She wants to be a doctor. She said, Granny, come to help you put on your brassiere. Right? So I said, Mariah, get to this bedroom. Thanks. But anyhow, when she can stay, oh, come on, powder your back. I said, okay, Mariah. But you know, it was so frustrating sometimes. Here, I never look at the mirror because it's not easy. You know, you had two breasts and then you got one side and then it hurts you a lot to know what's going through. And that time I was working with the daycare and I had all the support. When you get in there in the morning to school, these little children would come around and bring teachers, look your shoe, teacher, look this, you know. And you felt so loved within you. Because as cancer survivors, we need that love, we need that support. The journey continued. I didn't do chemotherapy. I opted for the tablet, letrozole. I drank it for 7 years. Did my yearly checkups, not yearly, every 3 months I went to clinic. Then it go to 6 months, and then it go to 8 months. Then it go to a year, and they say that you're cancer-free. I said, thank you, Jesus. Anyhow, during this year, I started spotting. I said, Lord, because what they're saying, when you got breast cancer, it goes with the other. And my sister had breast cancer, and then she gets cervical cancer. And I said, Lord, help me. I went to get a biopsy done. The biopsy, when I went back for results, they didn't get enough sample. I said, hi, doctor. Because it was very, very painful. The biopsy is very painful. A second biopsy I did again, not enough sample. I said, Dr. Hero, God can see me through. I said, God can see me through. No more. I ain't able. I don't have a husband. Y'all only fatiguing and poking, and y'all ain't getting enough sample. Leave me alone. He said, no, you have to do it because the uterus lining thickening and it comes with cancer. I said, okay, doctor. I said, have any way that you could do it because it's very painful and it's not easy for me to go through what I went through before. He said, okay, we'll put you in a hospital and do a DNC. It came back that the cancer, I have the cervical, they say the lesions, it form cancer. And come this month in, I have to do a hysterectomy to take out everything out from there. But, you know, when you're a Christian and you have the faith and you have God within you, as it says, nothing is impossible with God. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I got a courage and everything, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I used to be afraid. But when you read it, I mean, you pray, you see things, you see other people going through worse than you. So people can't get to the bed. I lost a friend last week Friday. Her cancer came back, it got in her bones. She wasn't fortunate like me to say to do a hysterectomy takeout. She died. She just gave up and she died last week Friday. So I want to encourage each and every one of us. Those with fighting cancer and those who survive cancer, give them all your love and support. We are battling this sickness 365 days a year. But you know, in October, everybody said, yes, October, and everybody, you get called left, right, and center. The whole month you're getting called. What about us who are going through this thing? Every time I feel a pain in my belly, I say, Lord, help me. We're going through this again. So I want to encourage each and every one of you here. Not only look in October for cancer survivors. Call us. We need that support. Just check on us to see what is happening throughout the year and not only October. Yes, we come to share our stories and to encourage others along the way because we say early detection saves life. But we are suffering too. So I just want to see. What is your last year? Act now so that we could live strong. That's my story. Thank you.
That is the definition of strength and resilience. Now, one of the challenges that women who, and I don't want to say suffer, but women who get breast cancer have is, as Rosalind said, every moment, every slight thing you feel, that fear comes back. The colleague who died, you're speaking about Marilyn? Yes. So Marilyn's funeral is, tomorrow, that's right. Marilyn is one of those that we met along this journey. Even before doing this with One Communications, I was involved in the breast cancer awareness, and she was one of those I met. And when you see that the person has no fight left, they stop taking calls from people, they stop allowing you to check in. And when you call, it's like, no, I don't want to speak to Rose, but Rose checks me every week, but I don't want to speak to Rose today. That's the kind of down, depressed state that some people get to. So if we have more people showing support and reaching out, and there are survivors groups, there are support groups, but let us not focus on the survivors. Their caregivers are being drained too, because they're living it every day. And one of the persons who can tell us about the caregiver journey, in addition to her own journey, is Miss Renetta Williams, whose daughter had just finished school when she got diagnosed and was preparing to go to college, had to defer her education. And last week was the first time she sat down with her daughter and had a conversation and really understood, like I said, for the first time, how it affected her as a teenager and a mom who had cancer. Renetta?
Forgive me. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would also like to say thank God, because I am here today and I'm alive and well. So I began my journey in 2002. I was diagnosed in 2002. I was not 40 as yet. oh my gosh, sorry. 2022. I was not 40 as yet. I had just became a grandmother in 2021. And I was not that I should have a mammogram done at 40. But my advice is, before you get to 40, you get that self-examination done every month. After which, if anything seems unreal, a little different. You don't have to go do the mammogram if you're not of ages yet, but you can go have a breast ultrasound done. Because for me, my daughter, after she stopped breastfeeding, she developed the habit of running and touch mom's breast. And that's what she did. And I felt, after she did, I felt just a little something. And I was about to not even take that on, realistically, but something just said, man, go to the doctor, just check. I went to Diamond Diagnostic Center and they sent me to do that breast ultrasound. When I went back with our results, they said, oh, it's just a little lump there. It's not anything you should be worried about, but because you have small breasts, you should go get it out. So my next step was a referral to the Georgetown Hospital, but surgical department. When I got there, they said they can't accept that and just take it out. You have to go get a mammogram done. So that's how I got one done before age 40. The mammogram and another breast ultrasound was done at Balwansing. When that came back, they said something suspicious. It still didn't say. Have the biopsy done. So I had a needle biopsy done. Took that privately. That came back saying that everything was okay. Even though I went back to the surgical department with that saying, it seems like everything is okay, they told me they still can't accept that. Realistically, when I got the news that everything was okay, I was, jumping for joy. And then to hear, well, no, you got to go do another biopsy. This time they're going to cut and take out a piece of whatever is there. So that was the next step for me. Before that, though, they sent me to do, they did that, the next biopsy, and they sent it. I took it, actually, to get it done privately. I didn't want to wait. And I went back, collect the results myself. And I think all of us would have done the same thing, but I opened it. And I checked. And what I didn't understand, I let Mr. Google help me. Wherever word was a little too big for me, I checked for the definition. And that told me that it was cancer. When I took that back, before the doctor could have told me anything, I said, she said, you want to sit? I said, yeah. You brought anyone with you? I said, no. She said, you need to bring somebody. I said, for what? For you to tell me that it's cancer? I already know. It's like, you sure? I said, yes, I already know. She said, no, here what happened. You got to go home and come back with somebody. So I got another appointment. I went back with my mom and my daughter. She is my lifeline. And we were told then together that I had breast cancer. I was sent to do the MRI after that. And I'm happy now to hear that, you're getting help with that, because most of these things that I would have done, I had to find a way to get it done, to pay for it, being blank. And after that, and I went back again, they told me, well, before I go back to the hospital, my first instinct was, I am not going to do, because I like Google, so I was checking a lot of things. I am not going to do no chemo for lose no weight and no hair fall out, and not me. So I decided that I was going to use the herbal treatment. I use things. But when I thought about it, herbs are there. They are there for our healing, but then you have to know how you're using it and what you are using. After using the herbs for the period of time, because like I said, I was diagnosed in somewhere like March, and I was supposed to go back to get things started anytime around April, May. My daughter's birthday was July. I decided on my own, from then to July, I was going to use the herbs, and I was going to prove them wrong. And when I went back in late July, it had shown that instead of that lump getting any smaller, it had actually increased a little bit with me using the herbs. So they told me, you don't have a choice. Because my thing was, do I really have to have a mastectomy done? Do I have to lose this part of me? That was like the hardest thing. Over everything else, that was the thought of losing that was me feeling like I'm losing a part of being a woman. And they said, no, you don't have a choice. Upon hearing that, they said, 8 sessions of chemo, 4 mastectomy, then the other 4. I said, okay. Went to the oncology department and hear what was going to go on and try to get through it. I still had that hope, though, that, I wouldn't have to do no mastectomy because I really wanted to keep it, in a sense. But I went through it. I had 4 sessions of chemo. The first session I had, all these things they tell you expect. When I went home, I was strong as ever. I had no vomiting, no nothing. And then a few days after, I decided to comb my hair. And the first pull, it was unbelievable. And within maybe, and I'm not going to see this through. I'm going to shave my head. So that's what I did. My daughter, she wanted me to feel better. I said no. And surprisingly, when I did the interview last week with her, even though when I was diagnosed, she had just finished school, she was preparing to go to UG, she had already applied, she was accepted, and because of me, and she had just started a job, and because of me, she decided, well, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay and work, do whatever I need to help my mom. I'm a single mother of 2, by the way. And she is the baby of the 2. But she took on the responsibility that I did not expect as a teenager. I had support otherwise because I had other family members there. I had my mom, of course. I had aunts, cousins that would call and so on. But Relicia was really my lifeline. Every chemo, well, almost every chemo session I had, she was there. She was working, but she was still trying to do an online course. If she had to go there and put on a plan and sit down with her phone while I'm in there to do that work, that's what she did. She was there. She still is here for me. During that interview is the first time I saw my daughter break down. I never saw her break down during my journey. I mean, most likely she did, but she didn't show me. So, for me, after having these 8 sessions of chemo and the mastectomy, I started having trouble in the other breast. It was just slight pains, which I still have in and out now. But upon doing another biopsy, it is shown that it's not cancerous, thank God. Also, because of that, before being diagnosed with breast cancer, I had an issue whereby, this is the first time I'm going to see this, everybody's going to hear, whereby I had, as we would say, spotting. I had a miscarriage and then I didn't get a period. But you can have a child and then you wouldn't see a period for a while. But instead of a period coming back, I started spotting. So I was spotting like all the time and no period. Going to the doctor's face and they weren't finding anything. They were giving me contraceptives saying that it's going to regulate it, which it didn't. And then during this journey now I find out that using contraceptives and overusing it in a sense can be a factor with whatever hormones you get from it that can contribute to you getting cancer. I'm not saying that that's what happened to me, I'm just saying. So we as women have to be careful with what we put in our body and don't overdo. Find other ways and means there might be things that might be uncomfortable to your husband, but it is for your health. So because of that spotting and then the cancer, I would have underwent 4 biopsies for my uterus so far. And like Ms. Rose says, it's pretty painful. Those results would have shown, they said the cells are atypia, means that the possibility exists that it may become cancerous. And I thank God for standing here today because I know that they told me I would have that. I should have, actually. I should have that surgery done to remove everything, but I was scared. And I still am. But thinking about it, I've already been through the whole process of having breast cancer. And I don't want to go through another process of having any kind of cancer. So I'll consider. But I'm just saying all of this to say that my journey, or what brought me to this point of my journey, is 1, knowing that I have that support, especially what I get from my daughter. 2, knowing that there are people out there, because I do get support from these groups also. People out there that are actually there with you. You're not doing it alone. To speak. And maybe a grown woman, an auntie, even an uncle, because males can get breast cancer too, can listen to me and take into consideration that they should be screened, that they should take their health into their own hands. And maybe I might be able to prevent somebody else from going through what I would have, because in total, I would have done 10 sessions of chemo, not just the 8. Because of the problem on the other side, I was supposed to do 6 more, but after the first 2, my body decided that it couldn't take it anymore. So I would have done 10 sessions of chemo. I had my mastectomy done, and I have done 30 sessions of radiation. And also, with that little lump there that wasn't giving me any problems, it wasn't hurting, there was no discharge from my breast or anything, just a little lump that we found by accident. By the time they would have checked me, I already had stage 3 breast cancer. And it means that something can be going on there, and we're taking it for granted. So please take your life, take your health into your own hands. So you have a blessed day.
I'm now going to invite Ms. Yolandra McCammon from the Sterling Products Limited, the PRO for that business, to do a presentation to Ronetta as well as Rosalind. So Rosalind, please stand by. I should be taking all of this home just for lifting these 2 things. Oh, she'll take it too. Oh, yeah, just like put your hand on it. Yeah, I'll take it. That's one of the other things that cancer does. It affects your ability to lift weight. So as you see, you have to avoid lifting weight, doing strenuous exercises, and so many other things that change in your life. Thanks, Yolandra, and thanks to Sterling Products Limited for recognizing and acknowledging today's survivors. When Rosalind and Renetta spoke, you don't mind me calling you by your first names, right? You like the sound? Both of these women have become my friends along the way. You know, I recognize every survivor and fighter in the room, having engaged with them on different platforms for different reasons. And one thing that is common in everybody is waking up and saying, thank God for life. Because for many of them, they experienced pain and other symptoms, and they went to doctors and couldn't get an answer as to what happened. Trudy is in the room. She had been battling for many years with symptoms, and nobody could tell her what it was. And to not know, for some people, is happiness because you don't feel like you're sick. To get a diagnosis that you're carrying cancer cells in your body, many people think it's a death sentence. But every survivor and fighter in this room can tell you it is not a death sentence. That's why early detection is important. It's not just because we like to say, oh, early detection, but if you get detected early, you're at stage 1, 2, 3. There are even people who survived being discovered at stage 3. So you get discovered in the early stages, there is hope for you once you do treatment. And on the issue of the herbal treatment, I know the medical experts have always been saying at every session, get your doctor's advice. Because you're not an herbalist, you don't know anything about the plants that you're taking. It hasn't been tested to know if you're using the right quantities and so on. So let the doctor guide you through. Because as Renetta said, instead of shrinking or disappearing, her cells grew. But she's here today, thankfully, because she has gone through her treatment and she continues to spread awareness. Thank you so much once again for sharing your testimony, your journey, and to remind us that hope, peace, and resilience, you know, each and every one of us in this room can contribute to that in some way. That's why we're here. So as we're talking about peace and hope, may I invite Vinal Hines to perform for us Season of Peace. Let's just welcome her. Let's get some cheers going here. Let me get you a portable mic. Because we want her to walk around the room and sing. Thank you.
Ringing. Is it on? Mic test.
Mic test.
Mic test. Mic test. 1, 2. Is it on?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Good morning. I want to say to every fighter to never give up, act now, and live strong. Been through a storm, so much tried. Had to fight to keep alive. But now the rain has stopped, I'm here on dry land. Peace of mind is in my hands. I'm in a season of peace after pain. The clouds are gone, the sun is here again. I'm taking this moment, embracing each phase, cause this is a season of peace after pain. Troubles come, but don't despair. Keep pushing on, it will be there. Let go of all the worries and strife, and enjoy the joy of a new life. Yeah, a season season of peace after pain. Sing with me. The clouds are gone, the sun is here again. I'm taking this moment, embracing each grace, cause this is the season of peace after pain. I'm no longer burdened with my past. Darkness made ways for the light to last. So I'm giving each day with no fear in this season of peace, in this season of peace. Yeah, yeah. The clouds are gone and the sun is here again. I'm taking this moment, embracing each grace, cause this is a season of peace after pain. Been through a storm, so much strife, had to fight to keep alive. But now the rain has stopped, I'm here on dry land. Peace of mind is in my hands. Please wave with me. I'm in a season of peace after pain. The clouds are gone, the sun is here again. I'm taking this moment, embracing each grace, cause this is a season of peace after pain. Yeah. Hey, season of peace. Thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you so much, Vidal, for that rendition of Season of Peace. Listen, I've always wished that I could sing. But, you know, certain things you keep doing in your bedroom and your bathroom and you leave it there and you spare others. And, you know, it is a season of peace for all of us in the sense that we're gathered here and we know what the collective vision and mission is. Act now. Act now. Yes. So if you act now, if you screen now, if you detect it now, there is hope, there is treatment, and you will become an ambassador and a voice to help others become aware. And one of those ambassadors I'm going to invite to the podium, Mr. Shari Chan. He has been a voice and an advocate with the Guyana Cancer Society, and before that, working in mission in communities, particularly the Amerindian communities in various regions in Guyana. And he has been one of our champions of hope. One Communications partners with 7 NGOs. We call them champions of hope because that's what they are and that's what they do. So Shari is going to share where it started and where it is now and what he would like to see. Shari?
No, this is good. Thank you, Martina. Thank you, Martina. Mr. Lewis, representative from the Ministry of Health. Dr. Tripal, right? Dr. Greaves, I met you yesterday. And all you brave, brave people, thank you all for listening to me. Now channel some of that brevity here, okay? Because I need it at the moment. I am deeply honored to be here today on behalf of the Guyana Cancer Society and also on behalf of the other NGOs that are here that are fighting the battle against cancer. Our purpose is to cast a light on a silent crisis that affects too many of us on this land in Guyana and the growing burden of cancer, and to make the case for why dedicated NGOs like us is not just needed, but it's urgent. Ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't get the audio visual working, so while I was listening, I would try to put some figures together for you to understand the dire case that we have here in Guyana. I would give you some incidence rates. Incidence rate is, in this case, for every 100,000 person in any given part of the world, how many of them have been diagnosed with cancer? The one that has the highest figure is Australia. 400, for every 100,000 people, 467 of those have been diagnosed with cancer. In the United States, our very own US, up north from us, 367 persons have been diagnosed with cancer for every 100,000. Closer to home, well, let me talk, the United Kingdom. I want to give another rich country, if you will. 307 persons have been diagnosed with cancer out of every 100,000 within their population. Closer to home, Barbados, 205 only out of every 100,000. Trinidad, 187 people out of every 100,000. Suriname, 170 people have been diagnosed out of 100,000. And Guyana, our Guyana, is only 143 people have been diagnosed out of every 100,000. Now, should we jump up and down and clap? No. Why is that so? Before we get to the why, I want you to take another statistic. In Australia, with so many being diagnosed, only 18% mortality rate. I mean, that's high still, but I'm saying only 18% in the context of this table. In the US, 23% have died. Barbados, 55%. 55% in Barbados have died, even though their incidence was low. Trinidad was 52, Suriname 51, Guyana 51. You get the picture. You get the picture. You notice that the richest, most developed, with advanced healthcare system within their countries are the ones with the high figures. Now, the reason we have such high incidence of cancer or reported cases in these countries is because these countries have the wherewithal to test for cancer, okay? And so their figures are higher. That sends a picture to us that we in Guyana, we in Trinidad, in Barbados, in the third world countries, don't have the sophistication of their system. And so we're left with low incidence rates, which we thought we would be happy about, but because a lot of them go undiagnosed. And so you have, by the time they're diagnosed, you have a high incidence rate of mortality because it's too late. We are just starting in Guyana. These, by the way, these are 2022 figures that I could find. So we're still, you know, the all money didn't kick in then. For us, it's starting to kick in now, I hope. I'm seeing it, we are seeing it. And we're just starting to do so. We're building new hospitals with sophisticated machinery, like Dr. Dripal would have said earlier, mammogram machines, CT scans. And so we expect to see the incidence rate go up. And we need to understand that it's going up because we're finding people with cancer, not because cancer is necessarily increasing. It probably is, right? And as these rates go up, you will see that the mortality rate will go down and we will be in a better position to conquer cancer. That's kind of Cancer Society's motto, by the way, let's conquer cancer. Now, let's talk a little bit why I came up here, which is the need for NGOs like Guyana Cancer Society. And I just said we're improving on our infrastructure and this will lead to more testing and subsequently more treatment, better treatment. But the biggest question now is, can the government do it alone? Can the government do it alone? And can the Ministry of Health be the sole provider of these services? Do you think so? No. The answer is no, and I'm glad that The Ministry of Health representatives know that. And I think if we go all the way up to the minister or even the president, they will answer. Anybody in Guyana will know that they can't do it alone. And so we are hoping that we can forge that partnership more and more as we go along. This is where Guyana Cancer Society comes in, and this is where civil society comes in. This is where you and I come in. We work with the ministry to improve the testing figures and bring the results to them. Then in true partnership style, we forge ahead with a cure, and we look at new types of treatment. And I see immunotherapy is happening in the first world, stem cell, for example. One last point. These rich countries we spoke about, their healthcare systems have built into their DNA tests such as mammograms, PSA tests. And so when one of their citizens go for an annual checkup, they're caught. Oh, you're ready for your mammogram, or you're ready for your PSA test. You haven't done it in a year. And so in that sense, they're caught up. And we don't have that as yet in our DNA. We don't have a system where patients are proactive enough to go to the doctor because it's their annual checkup. We don't have that as yet. So we need to be remembering that. When our country lacks such sophistication, then we see the need for NGOs such as Guyana Cancer Society to step up to the plate, find these persons, and bring them into the system. I think Guyana Cancer Society does a good job with our outreaches, for example. You can build it. Will they come? Some of them do. But we happen to be focusing, like Martina said, we go to the interior, we try to catch the Amerindian population. We try to forge partnerships with other NGOs. Some of our major partners include Los Angeles-based Guyana Medical Relief, which I'm a member of. It includes the U.S. Embassy Humanitarian Assistance Program. We try to find these, and I see Sterling Products and the other businesses here. I hope we can send home to you the need for you to support us NGOs so we can go out and find these patients and again bring them into the system. So I want to thank you all for listening, and on behalf of Guyana Cancer Society, I hope that you all accept your role in bringing this scourge called cancer into the forefront of our lives and thereby live the fight to bring a cure. Thank you so much.
Sharir's knowledge is astounding. Anything you want to know about cancer, I would faster WhatsApp him than check Google, because he's been in this journey for so long that it's just there. He moves faster than Google. So thanks, Sharir, for your presentation and putting together those statistics so you can get perspective. You hear 400 people diagnosed, but 18% mortality rate, but you're hearing 100 and something in Ghana, 51% mortality rate. That tells you that we have a lot of work to do, and it starts here in this room with all of you here today. And just a reminder, the Ministry of Health has vouchers for the HPV as well as the Universal Healthcare $10,000 value voucher. So if you don't have the money, go grab a voucher. If you have the money, still grab a voucher, right? Get the voucher and get tested and share the word with others so that they can get the vouchers and get tested, because screening is the only way to know. You feel a lump, but that doesn't tell you, your hands, if you have cancer. You got to get it checked. All right, so you can go to the Ministry of Health on Brick Dam, right outside of Coffee. There are a lot of other clinics that are giving them out. The Giving Hope Foundation also has vouchers. That's another NGO we work with. And Shari can also assist. When we're done, I'm putting him on the spot. You can take his number and he'll be able to give you more help. And for those of you who have my number, you can reach out to me as well. So thanks for representing the Champions of Hope very well, Sharir. And this basically brings us to the end of what today's session was all about. So what we'll do is invite the media to ask any questions that they may have to ask. If you'd like to have that moment, please indicate by a raise of hands. And we'll just take 3 questions for now, but you can still have questions on the sidelines. Any questions that you want asked, answered, please indicate, or you can have those questions asked on the sidelines. All right, so we'll go on the sidelines. Music. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you all for being part of this journey. We look forward to working with you, not just throughout October, but for the rest of 2025 and 2026, as One Communications and the Ministry of Health continue to partner to bring awareness, to help with detection and prevention efforts to conquer cancer here in Guyana. Thank you.